Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. Today, we're going to take a look. We got two episodes for you here today. This is the first of two. This is a very cool band from the UK who released three albums in the 80s and then disappeared off the face of the earth. But those three albums are very, very cool. The band is called Grand Prix, of course, featuring Michael Donahue on guitar, Ralph Hood on bass, Andy Byrne on drums, a guy named Phil Lanzon on keyboards, currently with Uriah Heep, and with Uriah Heep for many, many years. Originally with a guy named Bernie Shaw on lead vocals, Canadian Bernie Shaw. Bernie Shaw appeared on their first album, of course, also along with Phil Lanzon, member of Uriah Heep, now for many, many years. God, we are like approaching almost, that's a couple years yet, almost 40 years. With Bernie and Phil and Uriah Heep. Pretty crazy, right? But after Bernie left after the first album, we got a guy on lead vocals by the name of Robin McAuley, who appeared on their second and third albums. Of course, Robin McAuley, shortly thereafter, to form a little partnership with a guy named Michael Schenker. Perhaps you've heard of him. The McAuley Schenker Group. They released three great studio albums. Of course, Robin McAuley has done all sorts of other things since then. Other bands and projects and solo albums, and he's toured and sang with Michael Schenker again and Michael Schenker Fest and all that sort of thing. So yeah, so a kind of like a very notable band for as a breeding ground for a couple of guys who went on to do, you know, even bigger things. But on their own, Grand Prix, very, very cool band. I guess I would classify them as hard rock, AOR melodic rock, certainly pomp rock and prog, right? You know, pomp rock kind of like Trillion, Angel, Aviary, Styx, that sort of thing, right? That's, maybe you can lump, the Tubes in there, right? Pop rock, kind of like a more commercial version of progressive rock, right? Big keyboards, big hooks, and big guitars, and all that sort of thing. So three great albums. Again, Grand Prix, the debut, There for None to See, the second album, and then the third and final album was Samurai. So pretty much, 1980, 1982, 1983. So when the Samurai album was released, the band, broke up not that long afterwards. So then we've got McAuley joining with Michael Schenker just a few years later. I think that album was, 87, I believe. So the perfect timing album. So let's take a look at and break down my ranking here of this catalog. So kind of difficult because all three albums are very strong, I believe. There's subtle differences between each one of them. But I'm going to go my number three. I'm going to go with the third album, 1983, like I mentioned. It's called Samurai. This was might even have been their biggest selling album. I remember this one sort of making a little bit of a dent here in the States. Mainly because of one track, right? Which is called Shout. A little louder, louder, can you hear me shout? If you were listening to like FM rock radio around this time, I know 101.5 WPDH played it here in the Hudson Valley. I remember that song quite a bit. I think they even had a video for it as well. But that's the second track on the album. Give Me What's Mine is the opener, total AOR, really catchy. Like I said, Shout, really good hard rocker, irresistible chorus. You got 50-50 is another hook-laden melodic rocker. You got the real majestic Here We Go Again, not Here I Go Again, Here We Go Again. Great vocal from Robin McAuley. Sounds great on these two albums. Countdown to Zero, very keyboard-driven, hard rock song. Somewhere Tonight, that's really kind of catchy, hooky AOR. Killer chorus, big Hammond organ from Phil. Great vocal from Robin. It's one of the highlights on this album. It's really good. High Time, pretty solid, good chorus. Never Before. Great chorus, memorable, but otherwise the song is kind of bland. There's a little bit of blandness on this album, which I'll kind of talk about at the end when I wrap up this one. But Freedom is a really good hard rocker. And then the epic title track closes the album, which is a really terrific kind of slow builder of a song. Very much in that whole kind of pomp rock, prog rock style, which is a little more prevalent on the first two albums than here. Overall, I mean, I think this album is... It's lacking a little balls of the first two albums. There seems to be a heavier guitar presence on the first two albums. This one's a little more keyboard and synth saturated, but it still rocks. And there's some great songs on here. It's still very, very good. To me, if you listen to Samurai, I think the blueprint for what McAuley and Schenker did on Perfect Timing is right here. It's, maybe minus all the guitar histrionics, right? But I think the style of the songs and the kind of hooks and things like that, McAuley kind of took from here and brought that over to Schenker. So it's a shot of the band. This is the, of course, Rock Candy reissue, which is great. It's got a couple bonus tracks, which is kind of nice. Keep on Believing. It feels good. Cool stuff there. So yeah, that's going to be my number 3. My number 2 is going to be the one that I do not have a hard copy of as of yet, although because it's kind of hard to get on CD, but I'm going to be pulling the trigger probably on one, but it's the second album, There for None to See. And ironically, it's got, I know you can't really see with the glare, but it's got a live shot of the band, or it could be a live, it's on a concert stage anyway, on a big stage. So it almost looks like a live album, but it's not, it's a studio album. Again, the second album from the band. First with Robin McAuley. It starts off with a song called Heaven to Hell, which is crisp riffs, really good hard rock song. Great vocal from Robin, memorable chorus. Love the guitar tone. It's really good riffs on this one. And then there's like the cool Taurus bass pedals dropped in from time to time on it. Really cool. Troubadour is a really cool song. It's glorious pomp rock. Love the layers of backing vocals and the keyboards. Really, really nicely done. Take a Chance is a crushing hard rock song. Could be the heaviest song in their catalog. Killer guitar riffs and Hammond organ. Drums totally nailing it. Great, great song. Paradise, more of that kind of pomp rock style. It's kind of, this one's a little moodier. Lots of atmospheric keyboards. And then you got a great Robin McAuley vocal. Great song. Keep on Believing also rocks pretty hard. Ultra memorable chorus. Big bright synths and piano on the next track, which is called Taking Your Life Away, which how this song was not a hit, I have no idea. It's just got total hit potential, great chorus and everything like that. You got Runaway, total AOR, really well done. If you like that sort of thing, AOR, melodic rock, right? Big meaty guitars, big keyboards, strong vocal performance, really good. Touch of the Track is kind of like a mellower AOR ballad. Not really big on that one. That's probably my least favorite song on the album. But then you got Atlantis, which is a moody rock song. Another big memorable chorus. Really cool song. And then Relay is really big and bright melodic rock with some kind of proggy flourishes. Really good vocals. Tasty guitar solos. And then the closer is Life on the Line, which is good melodic hard rock. Really strong. I think it's a really good album. That's why, of course, I'm dying to get it. It's like, so I'm probably going to pay a little bit more for a CD than I normally would, but they do have some. Can't find a copy here in the States at all, so I'm going to have to order from somewhere over in Europe. It's like, it is what it is, but really good album. Really good album. And then my number 1 is going to be the debut. Simply titled Grand Prix. Well, look at that young Bernie Shaw right there. Look at Phil with the mustache, right? Debut album 1980. Like I said, Bernie Shaw on vocals, Phil Lanzon on keyboards, both currently with Uriah Heep since like the latter half of the 80s. Waiting for the Night is a big, vibrant opener. Great song. Day in the Life is epic sounding, kind of proggy, wonderful chorus. Bernie sounds great on this album. You listen to it, like, oh yeah, that's Bernie Shaw. Of course it is. Thinking of You is very memorable. And you listen to a song like that, and you can totally hear why Mick Box chose these two guys for Uriah Heep. Just there is a lot of like 80s Heep you can hear on this album, especially the stuff that they would do in the latter part of the 80s. Even if you look at like Abominog and stuff, Abominog and those couple albums, Equinox and whatnot. A lot of those, although this Equinox is way more synth driven than these couple albums, but especially the latter period, like Raging Silence and even the early 90s Heap stuff, very, very similar to what's going on here. So again, they both were great choices for the band. Mama Says is a kind of a cool song. At first I didn't really like Mama Says too much. It's kind of like a rock and boogie track. Kind of sounds like the more boogie early stick stuff, and even some of the Uriah Heep stuff that they did when they add a little boogie to it. It's actually, the more you listen to it, the more you like it. It's really, really catchy, and it's like a fun, good boogie / hard rock song. Very, very cool. Which Way Did the Wind Blow? Sounds to me like Zebra. You got Phil and Bernie sharing lead vocals on that, but of course this is a few years before Zebra. So go figure, but it's got that kind of Zebra feel to it. Really good. Very majestic. Great keyboards, great arrangement, and the vocals between the two guys just spot on. Phil is actually a really, really good singer. West Wind, just to me sounds like classic Uriah Heep. Good hard rock song, really good. Killer chorus, big organ, big guitar riffs. Great Bernie vocal. Next to You, really strong melodic rock song. Big chorus, big guitars. You Know It Can Be, also really memorable. I love Phil's Hammond organ and synth work on this one. And also love the hard rock track Feel Like I Do, which has another killer chorus. I mean, Bernie is just nailing it on this album. This is like, if you are a Uriah Heep fan and you've loved Bernie on the lead vocals with Heep for all these years and you haven't heard this Grand Prix album, you need to go get this. You'll really like this a lot. The closing song is The Very Last Time. Is another big kind of like symphonic rocker, nice piano work, nice keyboards. Again, with a really great vocal from Bernie. Really strong album overall of like hard rock, AOR melodic rock, and pomp / prog rock. And to me, I feel it's their strongest one. So yeah, so I'm going to go with that one in the number 1 spot. Like I said, There for None to See is going to be my number 2, and my number 3 is going to be Samurai. So I'm basically ranking them in the order that they came out. But they're really, you can't miss with any of these. So I would urge you, if you're looking to explore this catalog, obviously these two you can get pretty easily because they've been reissued by Rock Candy. The second album you're going to have a little more problems finding, but all 3 are really, really good. There's no stinker here. Like I said, I think there's one track on off of all 3 albums that I don't really vibe with. The rest of them I think are really, really good. Just great hooks, great vocals, great instrumentation. It's all very song-based, and like I said, if you like that kind of like hard rock, AOR, pomp, prog, kind of... So yeah, that is my ranking for the Grand Prix catalog. I don't know, my video's doing some wonky things, so I'm like freezing here. I apologize. So if you are a fan, rank them as you like them down in the comments below, and let us know what you think. If you haven't heard these and you go investigate them, let us know what you think of them after you've checked them out. So thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together, and Instagram all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. Thanks in advance for all your support there. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. Sadly, no, we don't offer the 4 Fusion Friday shirt in our merch page. This is one that George created all by himself to share with Eric and myself, so I'm wearing it proudly today. So thanks for watching, everybody. I am Pete Pardo. Stay tuned if you're watching this episode. We got another Ranking the Album show coming up right after it. The band Possessed. So we're going to switch over from melodic rock, hard rock, AOR, pomp over to early death metal and thrash with Possessed. So that's coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. I am Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We've got the UK Connection coming up today. Tonight, interview with Lawrence Gowan from Styx. Tomorrow, Hudson Valley Squares. Tuesday in the Proxy. Lots happening here on the channel. Do not miss any of it. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.